we start with the mind base.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like someone can give you the tickets,
Yeah.
and the
but if
the
you're not
accommodation.
willing.
If you're not willing,
Yeah.
if you've straight away disqualified yourself and said, I cannot do this,
Yeah.
that is it. It's like opportunity shut down, mind shut down, everything shut down.
Hello, you're listening to the Layers podcast. I'm your host, Tayo, and I'm so excited to have you join us on the conversation today. All we're doing is exploring the many layers of our world and discovering the diversity of voices and stories that exist within it. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation and that it adds new and colorful layers to your life.
Hello and welcome back to the Layers podcast. As always, I'm your host, Tayo, and I'm so excited to have you here with us. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Pelumi Nubi, a Black solo traveler who is making waves in the travel industry. She's the co-founder of the Black Explorer magazine, which amplifies the Black narrative in travel, and the co-founder of Oremi Travel, a company that plans solo and group travel experiences with an emphasis on strengthening friendships. In addition, she is the founder of Comfytrav, an e-library and store that aims to inspire solo travelers. Her travels and reflections are beautifully documented on her Instagram page, Black Kintsugi, where she shares stories that spark joy and wonder. Pelumi's passion for travel and her dedication to amplifying diverse voices in the travel industry make her a trailblazer, a personal inspiration for myself, and I'm so excited to learn more about her journey and what the future holds for you. So welcome to the podcast.
It's so good to be here.
I'm so excited. Twins, we're both excited.
Double excitement.
I have been, every time I follow your content, I'm like, I need to just pick her brain and harass her.
Oh,
yeah.
You're too kind. Thank
pick
you.
your brain and
Thanks for
harass
having
you.
me.
So, where were you born? Let's start with a bit about your background.
Okay, we're going all the way back,
Yes,
aren't we?
let's just go all the way back.
So I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. Whoop, whoop. Lagosian. So I grew up there up to the age of, I'll say, 10. And then relocated to the UK. So London girl, did my, primary school, last year of primary school, and then just continued studies from there. So, yeah. That was the journey.
Nice. That was the journey here.
That was the journey here.
So did your whole family move here?
So my dad stayed behind because he just couldn't integrate himself into this. He tried and it was just like, nah, not for me. So he stayed back in Nigeria. But my mom, she took the sacrifice and stayed here with us.
So how did you find the transition?
It was tough. Yeah.
Especially when you're so young, it's such like a
It's
the
like, what is
the cultural
happening?
difference is a lot as well.
Is shocking. And I think one thing, it was just the transition, the new and the old, and also I always tell people kids can be mean.
I think they don't have a concept of like consequences, so they have no filter.
They have no filter,
Yeah.
and I was like the girl, fresh off the boat. I was the fob. I was the newbie, and it was intense bullying. I was saying for my first year.
No,
Yeah.
stop.
It was.
That makes me so sad.
You know how?
Yes.
It was tough, and it was not the easiest of transition, I have to be honest. And I was telling someone earlier on, that's kind of how I fell into traveling in a way, because I kind of like recluded myself to the library and just kind of like, staying quiet to myself. So reading books and reading of these places. I remember that memory. That's like, oh my God, this place exists. Like I remember just looking through like maps and stuff. I was like, I would love to go here. I would love to go here, just based on pictures and stuff. So it was a tough situation that birthed something quite
That's amazing.
incredible.
That's basically what you're doing now.
Absolutely.
And your passion.
Absolutely.
It's so funny. I find that whenever I hear of like kids that were bullied in school, they lost themselves in books. I find that so interesting. It's like a consistent theme that if they were bullied, they just lost themselves.
It's just kind of
in
like
books.
there was it's books don't judge.
Yeah.
Books don't say nasty remarks, and it was just kind of like, and there's so many of it, and you literally can, like you said, get lost in it. It's just so much to see. I remember the librarian knew me by name every week. Literally, she's like, you will love this.
Flashback to Matilda, the film where she has her wagon with
Exactly,
all her books.
It was like both the school library and my local library. Like
wow,
literally, I was on the double dose. My dad, and that's one point I started wearing glasses because my dad would be like, okay, like you need to go to bed. I'm there under the duvet cover at 2 a.m. with my flashlight because it turns off the main light trying to read. So you actually ruined my eye.
Stop it.
I was a book nerd. Like I just got myself into it.
What was your favorite book?
Ooh. I think anything that was kind of sequence kind of based. I just love kind of stories that just continue, almost like a journey, followed the character. It wasn't just like a short read or something like that. But I had quite a few. I can't think of anyone around top of my head right now. But like I said, like I was just churning it. I think it was that also achievement kind of thing, like how many books can I read in a week or something like that.
Goals.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's always been my thing. Like it's like one record must be broken. Personal record. It's just like me against me in a way.
Club in school. I don't know if they were that popular because I didn't have one in my school either.
There wasn't any book club. It was just kind of like the librarian just kind of like, oh, this girl must really like stuff, and she was just like, okay, you like this recommendation, and next week I'll bring that one. She said, take the next one. But yeah, that was kind of my welcome to the UK.
Welcome to the UK. Oh, that is not a nice experience.
That's not how I wanted to start. But hey, we're here now, and now at least I can call this place home.
I'm glad that something beautiful came
absolutely
out of it. So when did you start this love affair with traveling? Because you said it started with books.
It started with books, yes, and it stayed with books till I could afford it. So family-wise, used to go to like the States. My mom, she used to like, do buying and selling and stuff like that, and business. So we used to go to States and kind of start and visit family and stuff. I would say it didn't really like get immersed till like going to uni actually. And then uni I found like I'm trying to remember the name of this place, but you get like an award. So I remember going to India and my family was like, what are you doing in India? Who is in India? I was like, I'm going. It was like 300.
Always trying to make India seem like, what are you going to do in India?
Like, who's in India? Like, what the heck? Of all the places. And I'm like, I'm going. And it was like $300. It was just basically free trip. It was like a free trip, like with flights, accommodate, food, everything. Like, so they kind of heavily compensated the university. So that's why I tell people, see what opportunities are around you. Like, literally take advantage of everything. 100%. I found that my one in my final year, and that was like I missed 2 years. Until now, I'm still here. I could have gone to Singapore, and I still haven't gone to Singapore. So it's like, damn, I really could have gone
77 countries. I know Singapore. What?
Missed opportunity. You just don't get them back sometimes. It's like, don't miss the opportunity. But yeah, so I think definitely just kind of take advantage and stuff. And then obviously I started working, earning money, and then just being blessed being in the travel hub, which is London, and access to like budget airline and stuff. So Europe became my base. Like
Europe is
literally
amazing for that, I have to
honestly
say.
Jets go red eye fly on a Friday evening, come back on a Sunday, like a weekend somewhere. Like you just really do have a good time. And then if I have a longer break or something like that, I go somewhere for a longer period. But yeah, that's how kind of just snowball effect. It wasn't a thing that I said like, oh, I wanted to do this. It was just like 1 and then 10 and then 20 and then 50 and then 70 and here we are.
Here we are, 77.
Here we are.
I want to talk about this kind of traveling starting with books. Did you feel when you were at uni, because I remember there was so much, like I would love to travel the whole world and try anything.
Different things, yeah.
And I remember when I was at uni, you're not earning that money. And at that time my only citizenship was my Nigerian citizenship, and then everything is a struggle to get a visa. Like for me, visa situation, I don't enjoy that.
You don't like going through that process.
I just feel like there was a time I made a list, countries you don't need to a visa with a Nigerian passport, and then it was like Fiji. I was like, all the way. Who has the money to go to Fiji like that? At that point, it was Fiji. I think it was Dominica or something. There were quite a few good places actually. But I was like, the flights, and it was just a lot. Did you feel that tension of like, I'm itching, like this is making me sad that I don't have the money, the time to go here?
I think I was still quite young, like what we say in high school and stuff. There was sort of all that drama and still integrating into the system and stuff like that. I think I didn't get to college if I said, okay, or uni, sorry. It didn't feel like, okay, I'm now part of the system. I think I used that years instead of wondering, kind of trying to just get into the UK system and just kind of, so I think that's where my mind was, just settling. And yes, of course, I daydreamed and I wished, okay, I could. But like I said, we were able to do some family holidays that were able to subside that craving, but I definitely wanted more. And once I got that opportunity, it was like a horse, the horse by the gate, like
ready, let's
go. So the moment that I was able to financially, be able to afford it, the freedom and all of that, it was just like, you're not stopping me, and I haven't stopped since then. It's like,
good for you.
Keep going.
I love it. What was your first country?
First country
that was like not family trip, just you.
I'll say the first place I went to, I'm trying to think by myself, I want to say it's Norway. I remember it was one of those kind of Scandinavian country, and I remember it because it was like I got this fancy boat accommodation. It was just you're trying to make something memory. And I always tell people, try and do your first solo trip, something memorable that you can remember. I'll say that was the first place, and it was that was my first taste of solo travel. And I always tell people, solo travel is like a breath of fresh air. Like you just kind of exhale. Like it's just kind of like you get to set your time, do what you want to do, have the freedom to kind of like plan what you want to do. And that was the first time I was able to navigate tough situation. There was nobody to say, hey, it's like Pelumi is in control. And it teaches so much about self-resilience, self-reliance, and just kind of like really so I always tell people, if you haven't been, do that solo trip.
Why solo trip though? Because most times when people say, "Oh, I'm going on a solo trip," it's usually a result of exhaustion with their friends. I don't. My friend, this trip is not leaving the group chat.
That is a good question, and I was actually pondering. You're good at this. I was actually pondering, like, why did I fall in love with solo trip? What was the thing about it? And I'm dyslexic. I don't even know this. So kind of like I suffer from dyslexia, which is a reading disorder, and for the whole of my life, I was diagnosed in college, but this has always been there. I remember primary school, like report cards and stuff like that. And dyslexia, one thing that comes with it is you kind of relying on people. You kind of need people to proofread your work, and you need people to, you just kind of need people's opinion in your everyday life.
Just little decision. Got it right,
exactly. Just cross check, make sure I'm okay. Like, and it starts creating this kind of independency on oneself. Solo travel, just travel in general, was that thing I could do that did not require someone else.
I love that.
It didn't require, if anything, maybe just to inform them. I think that's the, and I don't have to.
And you don't have to.
I don't have to, exactly. So it was the first time I could do this thing that did not necessarily depend on people in a way. So
just for yourself.
For myself, by myself, and run with it, and that felt good. And
I love that.
So I think that's kind of why I leaned. That was the beginning, and then over time it's definitely changed to me just loving it, just that freedom that comes with it. But I think that was it. I just every other thing prior to that in my life, when it came to like decision making or something that I needed to cross check and triple check and make sure the detailing, the T's, the Y's are crossed and the I's are dotted. But this was the thing that was like, I could just book a ticket and go. Like I could
and it's on my own terms, and I don't need to ask anyone.
I don't need to ask anyone, and that was fantastic. So do
you know what? I think that's such a beautiful story.
Thank you.
I really do. Like, it's such a beautiful story because like this is the one thing I'm doing for myself, where I don't have to depend on anyone else, and I can just get it done by myself, for myself. And it gives you the confidence, even just outside of that, navigating, being like, I don't actually need to have anyone. Like there's sometimes I'm sure it's necessary where you're just like, I still probably need something, but for the most part, when you're young, it makes you feel more confident that you can stand on your own.
Exactly. And gave me that gift, and I'm forever grateful for it. And I always tell people, if you ever feel you are constantly relying on people, I think I share this thought, like there's a lot of things that goes in our life that sometimes we feel we need other people to lean into those visions. We need other people in a way, like almost this podcast. You kind of need, not necessarily need a guest. You can do a solo episode, but you want someone for that, I needed to be also as excited. I needed to be able to lean into your vision, and if I
really was.
and if you don't get that, that's disappointing in a way, because you're just like, I can see it, but I just need this person also to come on board. So a lot of time people feel frustrated, like a lot of things that they have, wanting to do is reliant on other people buying into that vision. And solo travel was just that thing you could just do. You just can do it. So if you're feeling frustrated, or if you're feeling like kind of, I always employ people, just solo travel, do something independent, and you would just kind of like, it makes life a bit balanced. It makes it less unfair in a way, and you're just like, okay, it's all right. It's all gonna be okay.
It's all gonna be okay.
It's all gonna be okay.
I have to keep telling myself that every day. Traveling around,
affirmation.
Like, it's okay. Even walking here, I was like, it's okay.
It's okay.
It is okay. You're running 5 minutes. Life is gonna be okay. It's gonna be just fine.
Life is gonna be okay.
So no way. It means no worries. I was gonna start saying, I'm not paying for the copyrights. I'm not paying for the copyrights.
I'm not doing that one.
Because I used to think, why do people stop people singing in their episodes or their things? Like, and I'm like, it's the copyrights.
Even audiobook like this. I was listening to what's it called? Bamboozled by Jesus by I've forgotten her name. And literally she was like, she had to like say the word, and she's like, I'm not paying for copyright. I'm like, girl, you can afford copyright.
There's some things that out of principle I'm not paying for.
Like, I'm not paying for it. I will say the words, but I'm not singing it.
We'll put a voiceover.
Exactly.
We'll put a voiceover or a remix from Pixabay or something.
Exactly. Stop it up.
So Norway, I'm so interested in Norway as a destination, as your first destination, because this will sound really bad. Don't judge me, guys.
Don't judge.
There's certain countries I'm like, as a black person, I'm not going by myself. I'm not going by myself. And there's some countries I'm like, I'm not going as a group.
I'm not going back.
I'm not even going as a group.
I'm not just going. Period.
No.
Interesting. I think that's kind of one of my, I don't know, superpowers or something. Is that every country just seems, I want to see it. I want to check it out. If I then don't like it, which are countries I don't like, and I probably wouldn't visit again.
Oh, really?
We'll
get into
but
that
we would
later.
not say it. Because we were like, you said, I'm like, yo, go have your own experience. Like, I just want to see it. I want to go to these places. I want to do these things. And no, I think it was just the cheapest flight. I ain't going to say there was this thought process that I think it was just kind of like Skyscanner, London, anywhere. No, it came up. I booked it. So I think that was the decision maker. I've always told people like, how do you roll a globe or something? I'm like, 3 factors: cost. If I know someone in that destination, I really like that local experience. So if someone lives there already, I can just kind of engage with them. Always a good one. And just kind of like, what is available at the time. Like, does it make sense? Time of the year? Do I want like a winter getaway or like a chill city break? So I think it's just that there's never any, because I'm going to see everywhere. So it doesn't matter which way or where I do it. It's like, this is good timing. Let's do it. So Norway wasn't.
Norway was just,
it was just cheap.
Cheap like Europe. We are enjoying life.
We really are, especially pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, I think it's still,
post-pandemic price.
The prices are like, come
what's
on. But before the pandemic, and this is why you just don't miss opportunities, because I'm sure people were like, I remember 2020 was meant to be that year for people. They're like, it's my year of travel. And it came, and it really came,
2020 is a year I'd like to blot from my memory.
It's like I'm stuck in the loop. Like sometimes I'm like 2023, I see sometimes I see 2020, I'm like, bro.
Yes.
Like it's been 3, like come on.
Yes. It doesn't feel like it just feels like it's not going anywhere.
Like we just wait, lockdown, So I think definitely opportunities, just really, I think that's the message I want to hammer in. Like just don't miss out on opportunities. So I think I just grabbed it, like £10 flight, £20 flights. I was on all of them. I was just like, let go.
I love that. Were you scared? Did you have a moment on the flight being like,
what have I done? Not really. I don't think so. I think there were moments of kind of like, I'll say when I probably got there, I was like, I would love to have shared this experience with somebody, or like, it would be great to kind of like not have to take out the burdens of the planning or whatever. But aside from that, it was a great trip. I don't think I would trade it for the world. Yeah, it was great.
That's
really
good.
good.
I love when you said, the burden of planning. I'm that person on holiday. I'm the planner.
You're the planner.
Because I like peace. I like
You don't like
I don't like when we're lying down. Someone is like, because I'm the worst on holiday. If there is a beach, I'm spending my whole life
whole holiday there.
And beach and food, nightlife. I'm there with you. But then when you travel, people are like, let's go to all the museums. I'm like,
no, thank you.
I'm like, I'll come. There's nothing that I will be like, no, I don't want to do on holiday. But when people are like, let's just wander around and see what museum. No, it's a peak of summer. Do we buy tickets beforehand? Is there going to be a long queue?
Is there going to be,
like, what time is the best time to get there where you can... I literally don't... I shop in London. I shop at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
As the store opens...
You're there.
I'm there.
You're just
I don't want to deal with cranky stuff. I don't want to deal with, like, all the clothes. Like, once there's disorder, I'm like...
It's like, I'm out of here. Yeah, that's why I can't shop in TK Maxx. It's just like...
TK Maxx.
I cannot. It's like, why is it so disorderly?
The order sometimes they'll be like, is this size to this size, and you're like, this is not the right place.
Why is there trousers? What's going on? Like, I cannot shop
TK
there.
Maxx is definitely
it's like I always go there if like it's like the last resort, because they do have some good hunt, but I feel like you have to no I just want to go there and buy and I barely shop, so I just want it to be a pleasant experience when I do shop.
Back to solo travel. I know I asked a question about traveling as a Black solo traveler.
Yes.
Did you at first approach it as, oh, I'm Black, I'm a woman, and I'm alone? Or was it during the journey that you were like, oh, it matters that I'm a Black woman traveling by myself?
I think sometimes you don't realize you're doing something brave until other people highlight that you are doing something brave. For me, I was just traveling. I was just like this crazy ass girl that I've read these places and you know, almost imagined it, like can visually see it, get in an opportunity to go there. And then obviously wanting to document it in some kind of way and share it on my social media place. And people are like, wait a minute, you Black, you female, you're here by yourself. What you doing? How? It was like people were desperately looking for this magic one, this thing, this secret I found that they desperately wanted. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. What should I be worried? You know, when you're walking towards them, people are running towards you, and you're like, am I meant to just run? So that was the situation. So I think people made me aware that what I was doing was quite brave, and what I was doing was not the norm. And that's when I started kind of being more aware of it, and how I was treated and stuff like that. But genuinely speaking, I was, and sometimes it's good to be quite oblivious about this,
because you won't take the step.
You won't take it if you knew the risk or whatever that comes with it. So it was just very, very, very naive. And
sometimes naivety is good, you know. Naivety is good. I saw someone tweet the other day, they haven't been to Italy and they want to go to Italy. What's it like for Black travelers? And I tapped on it, and all the comments were like, girl, don't do it, don't do it. And I was like, for me, Italy is one of my favorite places to be.
I love it.
I've considered, I'm like, God, just give me the money to get a house in Florence so I can just like run away from the rest of the world from time to time. My friend and I were talking, I was like, if Nigeria was, every state was good and things were great, I would move to Jos and just go and
sharp.
I'm just gonna sit down there, literally gonna sit down there and just find a way to the city I love the chaos of Lagos, noise, London, the madness. I'm for it. Countryside makes me feel like,
what's going on?
It makes me feel like it's quiet here and I don't like it. It makes me feel very, you know, it makes me feel very anxious. But I love places like that. And I loved Florence. Florence is still my favorite. I mean, the Amalfi, all these places, they're nice. But Florence is just beautiful.
It's like a nice mix,
Every time people tell me about racism in Italy, it's Rome or Milan. It's one of those two that they're always complaining about. But
true.
I like the naivety because I was like, I didn't think about that when I was going to Italy. I was chasing Aperol spritz and pasta.
I was like, there are houses that they build like this. I must see it with my eyes. That was my motive. Like I was clueless. So you mean they're like on top of each other?
I want to see it.
I'm
going to see it with my
my 2 eyes. I'm going to see it. So literally, it was that naive. Like I was just like, and then obviously getting there, lived experience. I've not had any kind of racial like very overt in my face. I've had like the cheeky, you know, remarks, and I'm getting £1 million and you're taking £1 out of it. You know, it's like if I
you
take
can have
10,
it.
if I
Yeah.
take 100,
Take
I
100,
still keep
I'm having a good time.
1 million plus 100, you know. So you understand, like, it's like the richness of the experience and
Yeah.
the memories that I was able to create in those places is so much bigger than, you know, these other things. And I know this is not the lived experience for everybody, and I don't want to disregard those people.
Yeah.
But that's just, I've just been really blessed, I guess, or lucky or whatever, to just be, you know, be able to move through life. And I think just the mentality as well. And I always tell people, and it became this big thing in I remember posting on my page. I was like, I genuinely believe that when I go to places, I am wanted, I am accepted, you know, and that came through the affirmation cards, you know. I think the mentality and the mindset in which we go into places, like, it's really set the tone. It's really set the tone. Like, people, and I don't want to sound woo-woo, like, I really don't.
No, and if you do it's okay. If you do, it's perfectly
like,
okay.
It's really the energy, is how you present yourself and what you want, and how you, like, I go there and I always tell, it's like, it's biblical, like, wherever my foot step upon is mine. And I maybe I've taken it a bit too literal, like, but it's like, I am wanted, I'm deserving, I am, you know, in this, I'm safe here, like, I belong here, and all those things is what I affirm to myself. And it's like positive experiences. Like, I meet people and they're just so generous. Like, you don't have to, like, just
People
even
like
little
tourists.
things. Huh?
People like tourists.
They love tourists.
People like tourists
Oh
a
my
lot. Once they figure out
goodness.
you're not from there, the
They want to
curiosity,
help.
yeah.
Genuinely, I'll say majority of people want to help. Yes, you get the bad apple here and there, but majority of people, like, just even little things, like, let's say you go to a new place, you don't have the change for the bus, like, strangers just like, oh yeah, I'll pay you, you know, €1, €2 for you, like, just small things. I think what people do is, like, a negative thing happen, and it might be minute. You, like, let's say you're going through the security, they seize your perfume or something like that. Oh, it's racist, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, number one, your perfume is more than 100 ml, so legally they have to take it. But okay, let's say it was racist. Don't let that taint the rest of your stuff. So it's like something small and it's over amplified sometimes. That's both based on what I hear. Or kind of like they ignore the small things that are good as well. Yeah. It's like put the same mind, let the energy match. Yeah. The negative, the small thing that are negative that you amplify, also amplify the small things that are positive. Yeah. You know? So it's like let it be the same. Like someone said something nasty, but someone was also so kind. Like let it feel the same way to you. But I know as human it's easier said than done, and maybe it's just me as a person. But
no, you're absolutely correct. It's like I don't ever want to be in a bad mood when I land.
Yeah.
And I remember I was traveling to Italy last year. I don't know what was chasing these two women at the gates. They were just like, oh, you're in the wrong queue. Then I went in the right queue. And she was like, oh, you're not allowed to take a hot drink on the plane. In my head, I'm like, since when are you not allowed to take a coffee on the plane?
What?
Like, that I bought from the airport. I was just like, okay. So
I'll drink it then, no problem. You wait for me.
The thing is, I was almost done, thankfully. I threw the coffee away and I came back. She was like, we have to go to the back of the queue.
You're joking.
At this point,
they're testing you.
At this point, I could feel. I don't
the
like
rumblings.
I could feel it. I don't like injustice. I don't like little things like that where someone's trying to play someone.
Just like, don't play me.
I was like, you know what's happening.
You can call people out.
Yeah,
I think it's fairly fine. And you don't have people. You don't have to get people 100%. To step over. You know, walk over. Yes. I'm not saying let people walk. Like sis, we good.
Yeah. Honestly, when I went to the back of the queue, I thought one more thing,
and you will flip.
Forget this flight. One more thing. We're just gonna have to address what the real issue is here.
Exactly.
Because you almost feel like you guys are tag teaming and
what's going on?
You guys are annoying me. And then eventually when I went and I handed her my passport and she was trying, one of the ladies, she was trying to be nice. Like, the
niceness is not.
It's gone. It's gone. You saw my face when I walked up and you knew that we're this close. We're this close. And I was still board my flight.
Wow.
Because you have to get security to drag me out. The Nigerian in me where the brain touches.
Like, hold on to the wings.
Yeah, you're going to have to get security. But I remember I was like, when I got on the plane, I was actually fuming because he had wasted so much of my time. And I was tired that day. I was like,
it's just a bad travel experience. Yeah.
And I was like, do not land with this attitude. Yeah. Like, don't be seething. And because the moment you go in, anything that happens, if the border guy needs something from you, it's going to just magnify that. And by the time you come in, it's like, oh, I just hate this area of Italy. Yeah. It's just the worst. I had the worst experience getting there. It's like, it just...
Did you have just one bad experience?
Yeah, just one bad thing. So it's good that you said that because it helps keep people in perspective. Is
Yeah,
that the right
yeah.
word?
Putting things, put
Thank
things
you.
in perspective. Absolutely.
So speaking of affirmations, Comfytrav, initially when you launched it, I was thinking, my initial reaction was like, oh, I want to get it. I was like, why do I need it? Because I'm not an affirmation person, strangely, I wasn't until this year.
Okay.
So randomly sitting down in my room, I saw like a YouTube suggestion, and it was a Jennifer Lopez makeup video for Vogue.
Okay.
And I clicked on it because sometimes I like a mindless watch.
Yeah.
And I also want to know what kind of products everyone is using. And she was like, I say affirmations in the mirror every time I'm getting ready. And she was like, I'm in good and perfect health always. My family's in good and perfect health. I am beautiful and youthful at any age. And what she was saying, I was like, these are good things to say. Like, if you're getting ready and like, I'm in good and perfect health always. And then it made me think of Comfytrav, and I thought, I need to get those cards because I have such anxiety. I never used to have it before. Yeah. But now I have such anxiety when I travel. And one of the cards, I think it said, you make it there peacefully or something along those lines. And it's like, you will make it there peacefully and you'll be fine. What inspired that?
Well, it was post-pandemic. It's a lot of different factors, but definitely post-pandemic. Like you said, I myself, frequent traveler. Why am I trembling? Why am I shaking when it comes to, why am I having second doubts? Why am I, should I go, not go? Like, normally I'm like that. And definitely pandemic had that major impact on a lot of people. Just the realization of how, fleeting life is and, just being extra careful. And I think that was the first kind of like, okay, I need to create a product that just kind of help people out of this era, whenever we get out of it. And the second thing was just talking to people and how quickly they disqualify themselves from experiences. It's really bugged me. It really bugged me because I was doing hacks, tips, how to travel more, sharing this content. And I realized there's no hack, there's no tip that if someone decides...
You just have to do it.
Exactly. It's like, we start with the mind base. That's what I'm saying. It's like someone can give you the tickets and the accommodation. If you're not willing, if you've straight away disqualified yourself and said, I cannot do this, that is it. It's like opportunity shut down, mind shut down, everything shut down. So positive words. And again, biblical, because then again, there was an argument about new age, old age, biblical, is this biblical? The power of the tongue is there.
I feel like that's just fact.
Facts.
It's just
the
fact,
power of the tongue. Like we can make or break, we can mold or destroy. And they did this scientific, I don't know how factual this is, but they did some research whereby they had a plant, living plant, two of them. In one of them, they were saying, you're so beautiful. Same seed, same thing. You're so lovely. You're so good. Another plant, talking to it. This is a plant, guys. Like, this is science, research. You're ugly. You're going to die. You're going to wither. Really terrible thing. 1 month later, why is one flourishing? Same situation.
Stop it. I want to see this.
I will send you the link.
Thank you. What? That is crazy.
Same. Everything was kept the same except from those things. And the other one, the one that was literally like lumps, like So it was just like, if some, like the word we say to ourselves, the things we do to ourselves. So that's kind of how it all came together. And I was like, you know what? Let me do this. And I felt the most disqualified to do this. Like I felt the most unqualified,
Really?
Again, because of my dyslexia. I'm like, God, literally, really? You can't give me
anything else. This is what you're giving me.
It's something that involves words, my shortcoming. And again, God uses, the things just so that you don't think it's by your own power. So that you don't think that it's me doing it. It's like, I never say, when you Pelumi a product you did, I'm like, that wasn't me.
I fully relate to you. Like, I don't even know how this, I don't know how this came about. I don't know where it came from. Don't know how it came about. Not a clue in the world.
Not a clue. It was just, I knew it was a two people, and the feedback I've gotten has just been incredible. I just wanted something that, so in front of it, you got like your visual representation of different countries. So I wanted off the beaten path. There were destinations I've taken by myself, places I've been to with my phone. Again, showing people that the tools you have in your hands are more than sufficient. You don't need any pro, no something. What you have. what you have right now is the best you could have. You know, yes, there's joy in striving for better, but dissatisfaction in kind of like, okay, let me use what I have right now. So I took those images on my phone. Affirmation was written. I worked with a PhD student that was in like neuroscience and stuff like that. So really kind of understanding how people relate to words and stuff like that. And yeah, that was birth, and it's been flying. It's going places.
No, it's I'll put the link and everything in the description and everything. But honestly, it's amazing because sometimes all you need, especially if you're going to be solo traveling, you might not have the moments where I feel like, oh, I just need to talk to like my friend or my mom or something. And no one is answering. I'm like, okay, so now I'm by myself. But sometimes being able to pull out the card and just have that extra voice of an affirmation that's like, you've got this, you can do this. Like,
to be there.
Take another step. It's a really beautiful idea. And you worked with a PhD student. How did that come about?
So she's actually one of my followers, namesake Pelumi as well.
Shout out to Pelumi.
Shout out to Pelumi. So she kind of knew I was working on the project as well. So she's like, let's work together. So we kind of like, kindness. Strangers. Perfect people. Like,
I love
they
it.
just people going out of the way, and my love language is act of service. So when people do stuff for me, I'm like, come here.
You're like, I love you. I owe you. I owe you more than you could ever think.
Like, act of service is my thing. So when she took out time from doing a PhD is just tough. So taking out time from that,
I abandoned mine, and I know from my research that you abandoned yours too.
I was like,
gang.
I cannot come and die.
I'm not interested in this journey at all. I'm not interested in this journey at all.
Another episode.
Leaving your PhD, we need like a support group of people that I abandoned this PhD,
and it's okay. And I think if you're hearing this and you're making a decision, and this is maybe not a sign for you to, maybe it is. People leave jobs, and I think there's just this kind of like, especially when you attach your identity to a certain thing. So it became, hey, my name is Pelumi, I'm doing a PhD. There was that.
People are always asking, what are you doing? Oh, nice to meet you. What do you do?
And that was the thing. And there was also the, it was this kind of like
what's your elevated. Dr. Pelumi is like
elevated, response. And that was one big promise I made to myself, that my work will not become who I am as a person.
So good.
What I do is not who I am. It's kind of like an extension, but not me. That was a very big lesson I had to learn when I walk away, because it was like, damn, who are you now? Who is Pelumi? So I think it's kind of like I was saying earlier, that people walk away from jobs and stuff, and the life continues, and it's just it was a job. It was a 4 years job I did very well, and just don't have a piece of paper that say I have
it's a
this
stepping
job.
stone. It can be a stepping stone.
The skills, the expertise, everything that you acquire can never be taken from you. But it's just like when people ask, it's like, I did it, it's done. It's that chapter is, and I think it's seeing life as a book too as well. And I've started seeing life as books and chapters. Like, it's okay for a story to end. It's okay for another character to come in. It's okay to move. It's okay to relocate. It's okay to do that. It's just, it doesn't have to have this linear, everything must end in this ground thing. It's just like, I did that in that season, and it was great. Okay. And now it's ended, and done something new.
It doesn't have to serve me in the same way. I have a friend who studied architecture, and I've been telling her this maybe since 2018. I keep saying to her, one thing you're going to learn, and I don't know when you're going to be ready to be on that journey, is that you going to school studying architecture, you feeling like a 9 to 5 is the job that makes you more elevated. You're going to get to a point where it's not going to serve you anymore. And it's inevitable. Every time she talks to me, I'm like, it's that inevitable journey I told you about. The things that you're actually passionate about, that you love. I feel like, especially post-pandemic, I don't know many people the great resignation happened. And I think a lot of people are just like, I'm not
out
staying here.
Peace out.
This is not the life that I thought I wanted to live. And I'm going to pursue the life that I actually want to live.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that puts in perspective. Because during the pandemic, post-pandemic, whatever, whatever, was just kind of like, what's important for me? Those big questions you ask. What do I want to do with my life? What was important? What gives me joy? And I looked at the list, and it just was, the math wasn't matching in terms of continuing this journey. And it was just like, I'm okay to explore other things, and it's been blissful. So maybe this is your sign.
She was like, maybe this is my sign, but maybe this is your sign. I have no regrets about it.
None.
I thought about it at some point. Was it last year?
I think
before.
The big request is not doing it when I knew I should have.
Yeah. Because you wrestle with it so much, and
do.
you're just in this process where you're just doing something that you just hate so much, and you're just like,
Yeah.
and then it makes the research harder, it makes the papers harder.
Is this sunken theory whereby you think of the time you spend doing something, even though you want to leave, but you say, "Oh, I've spent so much time." But then you want to leave. It's like, if you want to leave, guys. And I think, again, this African, and it goes back to our roots, kind of like the quitting mentality is seen as this forbidden thing, is seen as this, you're a failure kind of thing. And just repurposing it. Like, life is incredibly short. You just cannot afford to be doing something that
suffering doesn't make you
miserable.
Suffering is not the...
It's not cute.
It's not
it's not a badge.
Cute, and it also doesn't make you a stronger person.
It doesn't.
Sometimes it can break you, and it's an unnecessary... It's an unnecessary experience you don't need to have. It won't be a wasted one, but it's quite an unnecessary experience when
That's
you can
a good
just.
one. I like that. I like the way you say that. Yeah, it's like
not wasted, but it's
an experience, and people say, "Oh, I had this learning experience from it and stuff." But it's like you really didn't have to do that.
You didn't have to.
You could have just had a blissful life.
You did not have to be there at all. At all. Okay. So I actually want to talk about the Black Explorer.
Yes.
You're a co-founder, head of partnerships. Are you still head of partnerships?
Head of partnerships, still
and co-founder. I loved all the stories in this. I skimmed through all of them. Well, I skimmed through at the beginning, but I skimmed through the Nigeria one because I was like, Nigeria is triggering me right now.
Massively.
Whenever this episode is, I'm talking like Nigeria is triggering me right now. And I can't look into Nigeria. So Namibia was a great one for me. Egypt was a fantastic place for me. I really got into this. I was like, oh, I love it. I love it. Sand dunes, friends, meeting. I loved everything about it. How did you get involved in Black Explorer?
So it kicked off by Ella. Ella is a beautiful soul. Yeah. She wanted to really amplify the Black travel narrative. It's just been so muffled, and in the mainstream media, you kind of, let's say, in-flight read and stuff like that, you go through it and not a single Black person, not a single Black story being told, and you're like, we clearly travel, we're on this flight right now, why is there not...
Shout out to British Airways.
Let's not go into that. But it's 2023. Like, this is the third issue. But yeah, so she kicked it off, and it's gathered such incredible response, especially from our community. It was just like, when you didn't know you needed something until someone gave it to you, and you're like, where have you been all my life? That kind of situation. That's kind of the response we got. We're like, it was clear our story needed to be told, and so it came from two directions. So story being told and creators being paid to tell the story. So every single writer we pay them, every single contributor we pay. So even as a small magazine, we still do our bit to make sure.
This is what happens when Black people own media.
It's important for us. It was very important because again, you just get this big organized clearly making a profit from these stories, saying there's no budgets, and we're just like, come on. Don't play us.
They're always not having budgets.
There's never budgets.
They're always not
beginning
having
of the year, end of the year,
there's no
budget. I'm like, how
okay.
is this place running? Like, make it make sense.
How do you make money?
How are you making money? We reach our beginning, no, but what are you saying? I'm not a dumb. This actually no, I have to call this out. This actually pissed me off. There was a brand. I said there was a brand X. Last year, no budget. They reached out to me this year. Oh, we really love your content. We see you being blah blah blah. We're like,
you didn't come
let's
back with go.
Budget. Where's the money? No budget. I was like, are you not ashamed?
You had the audacity to come back again.
Are you not ashamed?
You came
last
back.
year you came. I told you I don't work for free. You came again.
I'm going to need you to start having shame. Shame is
I
something
literally
I'm
wanted
to
say that,
having,
like spell it in the email, like you should have some shame.
Sometimes people are like, oh, we'll give you free product. It's like, no, my wife's counterpart, you're paying her, pay me.
Paying plenty money. So yeah, I think definitely, I don't know how I got that, but I need to share that.
No, it's a common thread. Even with Black-owned media businesses, I think the statistic is that most big companies only a lot less than 2% or less than 4% advertising spend for those platforms.
That's insane.
It's not great. I think if you're a Black business owner in media, especially, there is a company called Group Black, and they're trying to basically make way for Black-owned businesses in the media space and in advertising. They do a lot of really great stuff. I'll share their profile with you. They do a lot of great stuff. So please, important.
So that's how it came about. It was just kind of like different stories, open submissions, people share it and kind of vet through, what works for this. So this is part one, because obviously it was that annoyance of, this issue is called Africa is not a country, because
that is what drew me to this book. That is what drew me to this book. My research topic when I did my master's, my dissertation was the representation of Africa in Western media.
Wow.
And identity construction. And then I went on to do that in my PhD. And then unbeknownst to me, the PhD I was hating ended up birthing layers, essentially.
Wow.
And when I saw Africa is not a country, I was like, every single thing in this book
must be great.
I ordered it when I was on holiday. I wasn't even at home. I was like, when I go back, it was the first thing at my door. I was like, very good.
Very good.
Very, very good. And hearing Black people's stories and their own experiences and everything is Black. And I love that because honestly, when we don't tell our own stories, it's a problem.
It's told for us.
It's told for us and it's never told well. So you have a nice little section in this book.
I'm shy.
Are you shy?
I'm shy.
Something that you put in here that I really liked is you were discussing about Namibia.
Yeah.
I was saying to Pelumi before we started that Namibia was like my favorite holiday that she documented, or favorite trip that you documented. I was obsessed with everything. First of all, it's very humanizing in the way that you tell the story of another African country, I guess, because all African. Chimamanda has this great TED talk about the dangers of a single story. And there's one narrative about Africa in the media. Absolutely. There's a video going around now about this girl asking a couple of girls at a train station, what's the first thing you think about when you think about Africa? And they're like, no food, no water,
that's usually,
all these sorts of things. And when I was doing my research, they did this study on 7-year-old children. Just ask them to draw. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Africa? And they were drawing huts, lions, and they were like poverty, things like that. And it's not that those things don't exist. It's that the story is incomplete. And in this TED talk, Chimamanda is talking about how she wrote a paper. She was in the States at the time. And she said she got a low grade on it, and she went to her professor, like, what's the deal? And he was like, he didn't feel, this is in non-African, non-Black person, by the way, he said he didn't feel that the way she told the story was a true representation of Africa, because the people seemed so much like him, where they were going on picking their children up from school, etc, etc. And when I was doing my dissertation, it was one of the things that has bothered me, that when people think of Africa, they don't think there are people going on dates.
Yeah.
There are people having issues with their families. There are people that are trying to figure out life in the same way. There's so many different actual life. Like, people are actually living normal human lives and human experiences. Yeah. And what they don't realize is that thought process kind of converts into kind of a social interaction. It's like when I travel now, I never say I'm visiting from the UK because the perception is that if you're Black and you're in Europe, you must be African American. Or maybe you're from England. I always say I'm from Nigeria. And people are always surprised by that. But I'm like, this is my little contribution of a narrative change. I'm from Nigeria. Oh, really? I remember this guy in Italy argued with me. He said, so where are you from? I was like, Nigeria. He was like, no. I was like, yes. He was like, no, maybe like your mother's mother. But I was like, no, I was born and raised in Nigeria, which is true. I was born and raised in Nigeria. He was like, no, but maybe you haven't lived there in a while. I was like, no,
I'm from there.
He was like, it just baffled him because like he had an idea
of what
I would be.
Sound
and I didn't match that.
Like,
Anyways, I digress. Sorry.
So true.
I digress. But Namibia, I say that it's such a humanizing way that you capture it, because it captures all sides. It captures the wildlife, the people, the scenery. Everything was beautiful, and you drove through the desert. In fact, before I even read this out, let's talk about this, because this story.
Let's break it down.
This story. She said in this, by the way, guys. She goes, I looked online on how to change tires. How to change a tire in case I got a flat tire driving through the desert in Namibia by herself.
The ultimate solo trip. That was epic. I absolutely had a blast. I don't think I had an intention. Again, blissful.
I love it for you. Me, I'd have been like, Pelumi, let's see how many miles before we get
What
there.
are we going
How much
to
fuel do we have
do?
in the tank? I would have been like, I would have just frustrated you. But I'm not going again.
It was a case of, I was doing this. So earlier, after the PhD happened, it was one of my gifts. I was going to say, after I finished my PhD, I was going to do this big trip. I think it was to Bali and just like live this very lavish life for 2 weeks or something like that. But I was like, you know what? Yes, we didn't end this thing, but we did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So I took 3 months out and decided to explore 10 countries within Africa. So I started in Zambia and then went all the way around. But Namibia was this place. I was just like, you know what? I actually want to do like this long road trip. So it was a 4,000 kilometer plus. Rented the car and drove. And the day before I picked up the car, I was like, hey, wait a minute. In the UK, I'm used to AA. Any problem, AA.
Middle of the desert. No chance.
I have never actually changed a tire before. So I was there on YouTube. See, there are almost more than 1 million people that have seen this video. So I'm not the only one. On YouTube, I had to be like, how do you change? I think it was a Suzuki Jimmy kind of 4x4 car I rented. And I was there kind of like, hey, Baba God, please. Please. But funny enough, I didn't need to use that skill. But at least now I know how to change the car.
You see, you're learning so many skills. In this solo travel life, you're learning so many skills. You're becoming a well-rounded human being on this. The things that people are like, it's just a life skill. When you're here in the UK, you're in your base, you learn how to drive, you're just learning this as you're traveling. I love it.
So yeah, Namibia was amazing. This, like you said, it has a good balance, and it's it's compared to Nigeria where you're such heavily dense with people, you get the opposite, whereby it's just like,
you said like 2 million people or something
in comparison to 200 million.
Like, I want to go.
It's basically desert. So it was beautiful. Very, very lovely journey. And yeah, I had a blast, so I wrote about it.
you wrote really, really great things about it as well. I actually didn't mark it, but one of the things you said is, it is all part of the equation to achieve that big dream. This journey I have embarked on, after all, is about trying to push my own limits, trying to do hard things, trying to ensure that I never make an excuse for anything that I truly want to do. That's very empowering.
Oh. You know when you read this, like, did I write that?
Yeah, you did.
Who's that smart girl?
That's what you wrote. That's what you wrote. So I imagine that it's very challenging for you. And I imagine that you definitely came out of this empowered.
Yeah.
But the statement about not making any excuse for anything that you truly want to do, how do you encourage people to... You said it all starts in the mind, but you can start in the mind and still have fear.
Yep.
What's like an excuse? How do you encourage people to not make an excuse for the things that they want to do?
I think and this is now a new practice for me, is keeping promises I make to myself. And it could be the small things. Like you say, tomorrow I'm going to wake up at 6 and I'm going to go for a run. 6 o'clock comes. And you're like, snooze.
It's cold.
It's cold. It's cold. I'm tired. You stop trusting yourself over time. You're like, will I really go? Will I really do it? Will I really? So it's that excuses we start making to ourselves, really. We start realizing you don't. So I think that's one thing people can start doing. Like if I say I would do this, it has to be death or life situation that I'm not able to, that kind of situation. So really, because we keep promises to other people, we keep promises to our bosses, we keep promises. So why not to ourselves? One of the most important person.
Because with ourselves, I'm holding myself accountable. And most times it's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not okay.
No, it's not okay.
It's not okay because
you said you were going to do this, so you should be doing this.
You should show up. You should show up for yourself. So that's kind of one thing. I don't know if that answered that question.
No, it does.
Okay.
It does. You have, I mean, we can talk about Oremi Travels in this as well, but how did you're like, I have this passion for traveling and I'm having all these amazing experiences. And in some ways, kind of like when you find something good, you're like, come and see what I found good. You've been able to merge this passion into 3 different businesses. And I'm sure it's just 3, but I'm sure that there's
plenty.
There's plenty.
I'm about to stop like, it's okay. I'm tired.
I need to calm down. How have you merged all of this together, and like, what was the process like for you? Did you think this is when I'm starting my solo journey? I would like to do? Because there's some things with layers I'm like, even though I'm starting, the time will come where it'll be time for this.
Absolutely.
Was that in your thought process?
Yes and no. Yes, I knew that I wanted to, that was my tagline, making travel safe, easy, doable. And I didn't know how I was going to do that. I knew there'll be a level of like community. I knew there'll be resources. I knew there'll be educational platform. And I just tried to do the little I could with the resources I could and the time I could. And there is big visions but I feel like sometimes we get so intimidated by that and we don't take the smaller step to just execute what we can. So business and stuff like that came from, okay, there's this need, there's this, marketplace for it. Yes, I'm able to provide this service and taking it from there. So it wasn't this kind of like step by step. Some things were accidental, like the affirmation card, kind of like I saw there was a demand. I knew I had the skills. But yeah, like it was just kind of like collaborating with Ella to do the Black Explorer. I didn't really see that. There was no plan, but it was just like, oh, you're available. I am passionate about this as well. I want to be involved in it. And then Oremi Travel, all about friendship, which is the other side of the coin of solo travel. There's this big, in the media, people are like, ditch your friend, travel the world. And as you get older with my adult friendship, I'm just like, you know what? I'm 10 years, 15 years working with these same people. They must be pretty special. Like, I want to celebrate my milestone with them. I want to celebrate my 30th and my wedding. And these people are, the reason why I call them friends. I don't call a lot of people friends.
Because life is still better done together.
Journeys are better done with people.
When you're sharing experiences.
When you're sharing experiences, there are memories that, you can retell the stories. By yourself, yes, you can reminisce and you can read your journal, but sitting over drinks and stuff and say, hey, remember when? And you just bust out in laughter.
Even just jokes that it's like no one that was on that trip can't get it.
Like inside jokes, like we just say Malta man and everyone's on the floor, like just because of what happened in Malta and things like that. There's a joke on that one. So that kind of thing, like it's just kind of, so I wanted to be, yes, I'm known for this solo travel, and I'm telling people, don't wait, don't stop living, pursue the things you want, but also celebrate the people around you, because 100%. They are people that, milestones and stuff. So that's what Oremi does. It's kind of like bringing people together, plan group trips. But it's very different from your conventional group trips whereby solo people are coming in. That's kind of, I think that's kind of what people are doing right now.
Okay.
Bringing people, like let's say random strangers coming together and going on trips. That's usually the conventional. And that's how we started. And then I went back to God. I was like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel, you gave me the name, and Oremi's translated my friend. That's literally the literal translation. So I was just like, why? And I thought it was mainly like finding friendship while traveling, which is what I've done. But he was trying to say, the friends you already have, celebrate them, go with places with them, make new memories with them, foster it, strengthen it, deepen it. So that's what we focus on. So it's usually people that like group of friends, like we have one like in Dubai, 30th together, anniversaries, things like that, graduation, just milestone that you want the loved ones around you. So that's what we do.
What do people have to come with? Do they come and say, hi, Pelumi, I want to go here. And this is the kind of vibe I'm looking for. And these are the amount of people. So that's usually...
It's literally that simple. So on the website, which we're revamping, should be like...
I'll link it all.
All there. It's basically kind of like, we have these 3 signature packages. So if you want like a spa, relax, adventure. So you can kind of see kind of what the rough itinerary might be. So you can literally say, oh, actually like Zanzibar, I want to go there. I want to go Bali, I want to go Namibia, I want to go somewhere. So that's our signature packages. If none of them fancy, you're like, actually I just want to go Portugal, I want to go Spain or something like that with my girls. This is it, this is the pairs, this is the budget, this is the time, this is the date, plan it for us. And we're just like, okay, give us 72 hours.
I'll be in touch.
And voila,
72 hours.
We do quite quick turnover. I am deep in there with my team, and
I literally saw you with all your post-its on your wall. I was like, girl, you working.
We do it. We make your dream come true without it's just the ease from you, because people always have that, it doesn't make it past the WhatsApp group. You get those negative coronation, and it's true. It is really true. But once you have someone like us or our service, you kind of like, you know, you don't need to be asking people for money. You don't need to be just let's sort it out.
Us.
Just trust
So what
us.
if someone is like, oh, everything you've done is fantastic, but I actually didn't want to spend this much, if they didn't give a budget beforehand, or
We
you ask
always
for the
make
budget
sure,
beforehand?
always. That's kind of one of the important. We send like questionnaire, it takes 5 minutes. So those are kind of things that's
wonderful.
included in it. Place you on go time, kind of suggest activities. Maybe there's something you absolutely want to experience in those places, just to make sure your dreams do come true. And then the budget, because money, people don't talk about money. Travel is money. It's one of the most expensive hobby in the world. And I'm like, really, God, that's what you have to give to me.
It is. It really is.
So we don't shy away from talking like, what do you want to spend? What do you feel comfortable spending? And we send mostly like a range, kind of like a package. So you can say, I want the silver, the bronze, the gold
Okay,
package.
wonderful.
And then you can kind of like opt in, opt out. So we make it as flexible as possible. But yeah, we just want to make memories.
You
Just want to
guys
make
reach out.
Do reach out.
Reach out. Even I'm going to be reaching out. I'm like, I have a family trip that's driving me crazy. Might be time to reach out. Speaking of money, so you're traveling by, so, and I'm sure that there are quite a lot of people that have probably asked you on social media, how are you funding all of this?
No sugar daddy. I promise you that. The amount of
Someone's like, who is holding the camera?
Who is taking the picture? You say you're going solo. What do you mean? I'm like, what? Have you not heard of tripod? Have you not heard of tripod or telling a stranger to take your picture?
Take your picture for you.
Yeah, big arguments. I'm like, really? Like I said, I'm going
People
solo.
even arguing with you?
Bro.
Stop it.
Stop.
Blocked.
Block it. Block it in block.
Nobody above blocking.
Nobody can they show me. I said I went solo. It's like I saw somebody's hand. What is it?
It's your eye
So yeah, there's no fun. I think travel is just a priority for me. And what you prioritize, you find a way. You find a way around it. You really, really do. There's like
where
this.
there's a will, there's a way.
Where
And where there is no will, there's no way.
No way. Some people are like, oh, I can't afford you, because you just don't put it as a priority. Like it's not even straight away. Once my paycheck coming in the end of the month, a portion goes to travel. That's
So
it's
you're
like a
working
bill.
and traveling.
I am
actually
working
thought
and
you
traveling.
stopped working.
I am working and
You're still
traveling.
okay.
I'm still working.
So
I
what's
think
your day job?
that's top secret. I'm joking.
I love you. You can tell me
Consultation. That's the best. That's the best way to put it. I consult with some
don't
companies.
worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it.
Sweetheart.
But I promise, no sugar daddy. We don't do that. Just your skills make room for you. I just do like travel consultation, stuff like that. So that kind of fund it, and it's kind of like a money needs to come in kind of way. And you know, from the businesses I have, like you know, there's always resources coming in, and a portion of that just goes straight to a certain account. I call it my travel account, and that way you can see it, because people don't know if they can afford to travel, because they look at one account, and in that account is their rent, their bills, their everything, and they're like, can I afford, can I not afford? There's no question with me. I look at one account. It's simple.
I love it.
I can go or I cannot go. It's not to do with my rent. It's not to do with anything else. It's just this one account.
This is the account.
This is
Monzo even has something that we can set up like a pot.
You can put a pot. There's so many resources out there, but I just use my bank. Literally, just open a bank account. I have about 6 of them. Same bank, and literally,
I have a question just came to my mind. Go on.
Go for it. So like, you know, it's like, you know, you can have different accounts. I say, you know, giving account, you know, long-term saving, ISA, whatever. Have all of those down, and then make it important for you. There's this friendship within my friendship group that, you know, there's some clothes I have from college. We're talking 10 years ago, and I still wear those clothes. Like shopping, like I said, it's just not priority. It's not a priority. I'd rather go on a trip. I'd rather go somewhere than just spend what I don't have any designer, anything, because I just don't see the value of it.
Sometimes it's not for you. It's not for you.
It's not for me.
Like I always
it's
say, I'm
cute
not a
on
shoe
people.
girl. I'm not
Like
a bad girl.
my friend, they love a good design. I'm like, oh, that looks cute. I love it. But I can go on a trip with that.
I'm going on a trip with that. Do you know what? How do you feel about, you're on TikTok a lot?
I'm there, here and there. Not really, but yeah.
So there's kind of like this travel aesthetic.
Okay.
Or travel is like luxury. When you go to France, you're in the south of France, you're
the biggest
Dior pancake, whatever. I don't know. There's a breakfast. I don't know. You guys will know the brand. All these sorts of like lux things. And I feel like sometimes people are on their phones and they're scrolling, being like, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
I can't afford this trip. I'm like, you know, life really doesn't.
It's not that
I'm
deep.
the queen of, guys, this Airbnb or whatever is saying £300, but I changed the currency to euros because it's cheaper in euros. If 4 of you can agree, we'll break it down. This is the price. If 3 of you can break it down, you can have all these things that are very up. My friend went to Milan for £11. I was like,
Yeah.
£11.
Very possible.
So those sorts of things that kind of make people feel like travel is way more expensive than it is. I mean, we have the luxury in Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, people in New York want to go to Mexico. That is literally like they pay through their nose. I don't think I've ever spent more than £200 on a flight in Europe. Like I really haven't. And I check a bag in.
Yeah.
But that will change this year because
you're
I've been looking at the flights and I've been like, blood of Jesus. I think it's Europe spoils me because I'm like, I don't need to plan 2 months in advance.
Yeah.
I'll see if I want to go on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
And then maybe like 2 weeks in advance, I'll be like, okay, let me book it. I'm bad with that. But when I'm leaving Europe, I'm like, okay, so well in advance. Well in advance. You know, they never go more than a certain price.
Of course.
Travel doesn't need to be expensive.
Travel does not need to be expensive at all.
What are ways that people can cut costs?
That's even one of the reasons. Just when you said that, like the cost breakdown and stuff, that's one reason I don't think I share cost breakdown anymore. Like in terms of
yes, you used to.
I used to be like this and that. 2 reasons. Number one, because people thought it was now free, and travel is never free. I think as much as you want to put the message out that travel can be affordable, I think it's also important for people to budget, because sometimes people are like, I want to go to this place and I want to spend £50 for flights, accommodation, activity. I'm like, what?
Where are you going?
Where are you going?
That sounds like a dream.
It's like a fantasy. So I don't like selling people fantasy. And I think, and also stages of life. When I was a student, I was in more hostels and budget stuff and £10, £15 for a night and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, there's definitely ways around it. But as you grow older, there's definitely luxury that you want to afford yourself. And don't feel
Comfort
bad
and convenience,
where you are. Well, I always tell people comfort, convenience. Like I realized this certain things, like, you know, when I was younger, it's like it's to sleep and to wake up, right? Now I'm like, my back actually likes a good comfy
the pillow is
material.
important for me too.
The neck cannot be doing crack in the morning. Like I actually need a good night's sleep. So you grow with time, and I always tell people, don't make people feel bad whatever stage you're on. If you can afford
100%.
luxury, girl, I'm
100%.
all about that. If you're just starting off in your uni and you're doing hostels and that, you're doing the best you can.
It's perfectly fine as well.
That's perfect. So I just want to put that out there, because I don't want it to be in any way like it can be stupidly cheap and people are just like, oh, it can basically be free. It's never free. If we say free travel, it means
it's a problem.
It's a big problem. You know, people say, oh, I travel for free. I'm like, no, they didn't. Go and look at it. They're like, oh, actually they did exchange for work, or they did something. I'm like, that's
it's never
time.
Free.
That's
it's
time they had to invest into it and everything like
Especially
that.
if you're a content creator and they're flying you out, you're still going to spend the time
work.
editing that
you're
content.
You're going to work. You know, when you come back from the trip, you're spending days, you know, doing work for the brand. So it's like, it's never free. Press, whatever, not free. But to cut costs, there's just so many ways, you know, like being flexible. I think flexibility with time is one of the biggest, you know, money saving. Like when, how, where you're going. People always feel like travel needs to be this like far away distance place, or this kind of, you know, and I always tell, ask yourself again, before you take any trip, what kind of trip do I need in this season? Yeah. People go to trips and come back exhausted.
Very good question.
Because that is not the trip they're so needed at that point in time.
That is so good. I love that.
You're like, oh, I need to go to this place because my friend went there. And I'm like,
that's
your
how I
body...
travel. I've never thought about it consciously, but that's how I travel. I'm like, this is not the kind of place I'm going to right now. This is not where I have to go to.
You know, it's cool, it's correct, but I need beach. I need to relax.
I need going
to like a city where everything is zoom, like I'll come back and I'm stressed. I haven't had that break that I needed. So always ask yourself, what kind of trip do you want? And then from there, plan in advance, like you said. The more you give, the cheaper. It's proven. 100%. You know?
See me, I travel in shoulder season, so don't follow me.
Shoulder season. Don't follow me
and book your tickets in 2 weeks if you want to fly in the summertime.
No. Oh yeah, that's a disaster waiting to happen.
I literally never fly in the summertime. It's the same.
Sit to us at home.
It's because I think of it in the same way I think of shopping. I'm like, it's giving crowd. It's giving crowd. It's giving overbooked places.
Go and shop for the...
I want not to be in London. And London is always good in the summertime.
It is. There's so many activities,
London
is
good in summertime.
It's a vibe.
It's only when you want to... Places like Spain, Sevilla doesn't get cold until... God even knows when it even gets cold.
December is still vibing. It's still great.
Vibing. So to be honest, in November, you can decide in 3 weeks. Or in 3 weeks time, I want to go.
And you'll be great.
And you'll be fine with your ticket prices. But don't, if you think in 3 weeks in July...
making them... They'll come for you. They'll be like, Tayo set.
I didn't tell you that. I did not tell you
That's
that.
it. So yeah, I think definitely practice make perfect. I always tell people there's no amount of learning, like reading tips. Do it. Book that thing. Make
And
the
do it.
mistake.
Yeah.
Pay a bit more this time. Next time you will know, okay, maybe I should start.
Budgeting back.
Practice
100%.
really is like a muscle you're building, and that builds up over time.
I would say that something that happened, I try not to say use Airbnb because Airbnb, I did.
Is Airbnb?
I actually
I haven't
detest,
used it in a while.
I detest Airbnb. I detest their customer service and how they treat the hosts. The guests. Sorry,
yeah, they support the host. Yeah.
Airbnb. We'll talk about this later because anyways, we'll talk about Airbnb later. But sometimes on Airbnb, I'm always like, don't be afraid to message the host and be like, I want to stay in your place, but this is quite high. Can you take it down for me? So most times they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll take it down by £100. I'll take it down by 50.
Actually, I've never done that before.
Just sometimes you don't need to ask so outrightly. Just be like, oh, I want to book your place, but your cleaning fee is so high. Is there something that can be done on that? Because if I'm by myself or it's just another friend and I were happy to tidy up, and they'll be like, okay, we'll take off the cleaning fee.
See, that one is a super hack. I've never been the price.
You have to be Niger Bull to be like, please, can you reduce the price of your house? Can you reduce the price of your house?
But that's quite interesting. I think definitely looking at what works better. The comfort of I've stayed in some amazing Airbnbs and it's like home from home, like you say, and it's just so comfy and stuff like that. And you can cook, and I know people don't like to cook, but like if you're prolonged, you just don't want to be eating out all the time, like on the road for such. I
prefer to have a
place
place to
on the
cook
body
too.
over time. But yeah, so I think definitely look at what. Again, experiment, do this, do that, and over time you get to know what you like. I'm a hotel girl right now. I like my spoiling.
I am a hotel girl right now. And I am a hotel girl right now. I brought out my phone because I have some questions that I want to ask as we round up our episode.
Is it fire question? Rapid question?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. What has been your favorite travel memory or experience? We'll start off light.
That's not light. That's heavy. That's like telling the mother like pick your favorite child. I think because we've just spoken about it, it's just so fresh. Namibia, man. Like, my goodness.
You guys need to.
You just need to go.
You need to go.
You just need to be there.
Everything was great.
It was just great.
It was. You know what?
It was thrilling. It was like I was the edge of the seat. So
honestly, watching it, I was like, "Where is the second highlight now?" Sometimes you post for 2 hours. I'm thinking, "Hurry up, hurry up!"
A girl had to sleep, man.
Do you know what? I love it. Namibia, the tourism board should even pay you.
I should reach out to them. Like, I'm not. I really should
create like a reel for them. What's your favorite, or do you have a favorite travel quote or mantra you live by?
Everywhere my soul touch on belongs to me. Like I belong there.
I love it. The 3 countries with your favorite food.
Nigeria. Hands down, we have the best food. No, I'm not even trying to be because I'm from there.
Yeah.
Our food actually bangs. The variety of it. I remember going to Uganda and I was just like, for breakfast, yam with jam, with potato, with pork. And then they fried the onions as stew. No. I almost died.
No. Back in.
The constipation after a few days.
Thinking about that.
It was no. So I'll say Namibia. No, sorry, Nigeria. We just hands down. Can we just take on the title?
The best food.
I try different food. Like food. Funny enough. Okay, let's say Nigeria. For Africa, Asia. I like Asian kind of delicacy and stuff like that.
More like Thai food.
Thai food. I love Thai. I love a good Thai food. And like,
what about in Europe?
In Europe, there's nowhere. What? Chicken? Where?
I thought you were going to say Italy. That would have been an easy one. I love the food in Italy.
Pasta.
The steak, the food. I didn't enjoy the food in the Amalfi, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It was nice, but
it wasn't
my friend's like, you didn't know the right place. I'm like, I beg.
I say India. I really love their kind of like mango lasisi, especially. That smoothie. Ooh.
I have to try it.
You should. Just try it out. It's just heaven on earth. But yeah. I know it's like typical kind of like big genre I've gone for, but if I can pick one, I will just say pick one. Nigeria, we won that title, but yeah.
Yes. Big up to Nigeria.
Big ups.
I've had such an amazing time.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you for having me. I've
I've
actually
had
had a
so much
blast.
fun. I have had fun too. I'm like, I don't want it to end.
Exactly. Like, why?
I don't want it to end. Why don't you tell our audience what is new, what's upcoming, anything that you want them to know about the travel space, about your businesses, and about your Instagram? I'm plugging her Instagram. That's how I connected with her.
Whew. First of all, I just want to thank you for taking our time to listen to this, watch this episode. I always believe time is one of the biggest resource that cannot be bought or sold. So when someone gives it to you, it's so precious. So just thank you for that, for just giving it so willingly. And I hope you're able to get some inspiration and you're able to just, do the hard things, do the things you've been wanting to do, and not just had the bravery to do it. What's coming up here, girl? I'm just figuring it out. Every day is like a new chapter, and I'm leaning into that not knowing, because I always believe, if you told me 10 years ago I'll be where I am right now, I'll be like, who said what, how? So I'm excited for the next 10, and I feel it's just gonna be as mind-blowing. So I'm just excited for the journey and just taking it a day at a time and just doing the best I can in that moment. Definitely connect with me. I'm always on socials, Pelumi Nubi. I changed my name to own it fully. I was known as Black Insugi previously, which is a whole other journey, but I felt like
I'll ask and let you guys know.
Another one. But yeah, so I wanted to just there's just a joy of owning yourself in the totality of it, and that was really the reason. And I was like, you know what, I'm ready to be known as this person and doing this thing and just taking that ownership of it. So yeah, it's called Pelumi Nubi. Connect with me, send me a DM if you have any question. I'm always happy to answer it. But yeah, watch that space, watch it all grow. And it's like, planting seeds and just every day just it's blossoming. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, I'm supporting you as always.
You have always been. Thank you.
I'm supporting you as always. I got you a gift.
No way.
Yes, I got you a gift. I hope you like it.
Oh, thank you. Can I open it?
Yeah, of course.
I love this. That's my second love language. Oh, follow the sun.
It's a travel journal.
My God. Oh, come here. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome.
Oh,
You're very
amazing.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It has your name on the front.
Oh my God. It is personalized.
I was like, I'll give you a gift because you inspire me in all the places that I want to go and want to see. You kind of give me the glimpse ahead of time.
This is so kind of you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me again. And thank you guys.
Bye.